Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about foot positions and footwork. So very key in all the types of dance styles that you would learn, especially in things like ballet, contemporary, but that also trickles into ballroom dances as well. And it does become really important, especially when we are working with a partner. So let's dive in. So the very first thing we're going to talk about today is going to be the foot positions, where the feet are, what that's going to look like. And we're going to talk about parallel as well as turned out. So you've got your smooth dances, which are going to be parallel, and we've got your Latin dances or your rhythm dances, which are going to be primarily in a turned out position. So we are going to start off with the smooth dances in parallel. The very first position that we have is first position. Toes are together, heels are together, and we're lifting out of our ankles, out of the tops of our hips, and this would be your first position. I'm going to turn to the side as well, just so you can see. So everything is stacked right over top of my toes. My feet are flat on the floor. That's your first position. Second position, we have feet just underneath those hips. Now this position can be a little bit wider as well, depending on what you're doing, but your feet are going to be apart, which is the most important thing. So still the same thing in terms of lifting right out of the hips, lifting nice and tall, keeping that posture, parallel feet, knees, and hips. And then if I turn sideways, you'll be able to see that as well. So everything is in line with that posture for your second position. All right, our third position that we're going to talk about today is going to be third position. Your third position is going to be heel to instep of the other foot. So if I take my right heel, I'm going to place it in line with the instep of my opposite foot. We do primarily use this position in turned out, but that doesn't mean that it won't necessarily be used in a parallel position throughout some of your other dances as well. This would be this here, turned in a parallel position, toes are forward, and if you could see it sideways, actually I'll turn this way. I've got my left foot back and my right heel to my left instep. So my toes on my right foot are just sneaking slightly forward. And that's your third position. Position number 4 is fourth position. So this one is actually going to have about a foot worth of room. Now each person, depending on your height, depending on your range of motion, your fourth position will vary from person to person, but just as a basic understanding, got my right foot in front of me and my left foot back. Depending if you're leading and following, you're just going to alternate that left foot or the right foot in front. So that would be what that looks like. And then from the side, lifting up nice and tall, and you can see there is that space between my heel and my toe. And there you are, fourth position. The final position out of your basic 5 dance positions of the feet that we're going to talk about today is, you guessed it, fifth position. So again, toe to heel tracking in front. And there you have it. All right, moving forward, we're going to be discussing your turned out positions of the footwork that we just discussed. So going back to the first position, keeping in mind the ones that we had discussed with first, third, and fifth positions, they're definitely going to be more comfortable in a turned out position unless your feet are together in parallel. But again, we can get there when we get there. First position in turned out. Lifting right out of those hips, lifting nice and tall, and it's your natural turnout. So whatever your range of motion is through those hips, that's the most important thing. We're not cranking those toes out to 180 degrees. And there you are. If I turn sideways, I've got my heels together, toes apart, and lifting nice and tall out of the spine. Second position, same thing as we talked about before. My heels are pretty well right underneath my hips, and this is going to vary depending on your movement or your partner, of course, as well. So again, opening up through the inner part of the inner thighs and lifting nice and tall. If I were to turn sideways, very similar to first position, just with the feet apart. And there's your second position. Position number 3, we've got third position, which is also going to be more common. We're looking at this position as opposed to a parallel position. So heel to instep, like so. This is very, very common in East Coast swing or jive. So you're going to be working on this position pretty well throughout that dance. So it's a very, very good idea that you have an understanding of what that position will look like. So there you are. And then if I turn sideways, same thing. My right heel to left instep. And then if I just alternate, left heel to right instep, same third position. All right, fourth position. We have same as parallel, but of course a lot simpler when we've got a little bit of a larger base to stand on with that turnout. So I'm bringing that third position and I'm just gonna sneak that right foot forward, and there you have it. So I still have a little bit of space. Depending again on your range of motion, you work on your own turnout. We don't wanna be kind of cranking out those knees. And that position may be more crossed to you, or a little bit more of an open fourth, as we call it, which is a little more comfortable, I'd say, for most, is just sneaking that third position forward. So that's from the front. From the side, you can see that that right foot is in front of the left, tracking from foot to foot. And there you are. All right, last but not least, we have fifth position. Again, very, very common in your turned out position of the feet as opposed to parallel. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and I'm going to try it on the other leg this time. So I'm going to take my left heel and I'm going to place it in front of my right toe. This one can use a little more range of motion through those hips. You kind of work to whatever your range of motion is, but this would be quite a common thing in ballet and those types of more classical dances, as well as your more common Latin dances. So left heel to right toe, and then if I were to switch, same position. So I'm lifting out of the hips, out of the ankles with my nice posture, and then I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. I'm going to start with the right foot, right heel comes across, switch. The left heel comes across to the right toe. There you have it. That is all of your 5 basic foot positions in your ballroom, Latin, and classical dancing. Those are going to be really, really important for you to know, just because not only do they make the dance look the way they should, but it helps you with the technique, it helps you in Latin in terms of your hip movement as well. Depending on the foot positions that you're working with, it also allows you to move more effectively with your partner. So moving forward from here, we are going to talk about foot work. So footwork and foot positions are very different from each other. Your foot positions are where the feet are actually being placed on the floor. Second position, fifth position, like what we just discussed. Footwork is which part of the foot you're going to be using when you are moving in your dancing. So we're going to discuss this, and I'm going to turn sideways just so it's a little bit easier to see. So I'm just going to place my feet in a parallel fourth position, just so you can better see my movement. I'm gonna take my right foot, and I'm gonna start off with the very first one, which is toe. So my first thing is my toe. So tip of the toe is my number one. Next for our footwork, for number two, we've got the ball of the foot. So that goes from the toe to all 5 toes along the floor. So as you can see, ball of the foot and toe, there is a difference. Next from here, I'm gonna go from the ball of the foot to a flat foot. So ball, flat. Obviously I have heels on, but you can still tell that even though my heel of my shoe is coming down, it's still rolling through each part of the foot. So toe, ball, flat. Next on the list, we have heel. So I'm gonna use my other foot this time. I'm gonna bring it in front. And if I've just gone toe, ball, flat, I'm gonna roll through my foot to my heel. So your heel is gonna be used constantly. Toes are gonna be used constantly as well. But your heels are gonna be used constantly in your traveling dances. So your smooth dances, waltz, tango, foxtrot, all of that jazz. So very, very important that we get comfortable with these movements and these different types of footworks in your dancing. So far we've got toe, ball, flat, and heel. The other thing we want to focus on is a true flat position. You know, I'm wearing heels, but again, just so you can see, even though I've rolled through the feet to my heel, and then I'm going to bring that heel down, I'm going to bring that foot in with a full flat foot. I hope that was a clear demonstration for you as to how to use your feet and where and what parts of the foot you're going to be working on, depending on which dances you're doing as well, and how important that will be as you progress through your dancing. It also allows you to use those feet a lot more. It helps with your technique. It helps with developing your movement. I hope you found this beneficial, and please let me know in the comment section what else you would like for me to focus on. I do have a few other things up my sleeve, but I would love to hear your thoughts and what you are excited about learning. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great one, and don't forget to subscribe. See ya!